Research has shown that Q can quickly become just a party trick and something that's not practically as useful for ensuring your life goes in the direction that you want it to go as is rationality and the cognitive hygiene and mental habits that it requires. For example, there's a great book called The Intelligence Trap, and that overviews a lot of this. And in that book, it shows that it is someone's RQ, their rationality quotient, that ends up being a much better predictor of significant life outcomes, such as getting a divorce, getting fired from a job, ending up addicted to substances. Any of these things that you might think intelligence protects you from, it tends not to. But it's the ability to analyze your own thoughts, see where they're getting into bad loops, see where they're telling you stories that are self-serving and not reflective of the real world. It's those habits and then the ability to take steps from there to prevent them or improve on the circumstances that really results in the kind of outcomes that we want in life. Having a high IQ and the ability to solve abstract problems on a test or a questionnaire is not as useful as the ability to self-monitor and self-improve. Now I want to quickly go over 3 ways in which a lack of rationality can be a hindrance on your life. And this highlights why rationality is the absolute bullseye of self-improvement. It forces you to grapple with these other unresolved things or your ego or just where you're lacking ability in your life. The first is the planning fallacy. This is a bias that all of us have to some extent. The more conscientious you are as a personality trait, the lesser you'll tend to experience this. But again, it is a direction that all our minds tend to pull in and we need to correct for. So the planning fallacy is the cause of so much of our stress and the deadlines that we set. Research has shown that when we are asked to estimate a deadline, we mentally simulate how long it would take to complete the task when everything goes according to plan. But that's not how reality plays out. 9 times out of 10, something crops up and our plan needs to adjust a little. And from there, the deadline just continues to blow out. So they've surveyed students on when they'd have submissions for a project in, for example, and they asked the students, when are you 95% sure you'll have submitted this by? If 100 students were surveyed, probability would suggest that 95 of them should have got it in by then. But it turns out less than half of them even got the submission in before the deadline that they were able to self-select with a 95% confidence interval. So we are terrible at this. And as I said, it is because we mentally simulate everything going perfectly to plan. Simple adjustment, we can add 50% to all deadlines. If you think this will be done in 2 hours, tell your boss 3. If you think it's going to take a week to get this report to someone, say 10 days. Even though it feels to you like you can get it done in that time, that's where rationality comes in. It is not feelings, it is objective evidence incorporated with our personal viewpoint that matters. And we need to consider both. We're not special just because we feel certain things. The second is the paradox of choice. And this is just a lack of awareness about what actually makes us happy. Before making a choice, we should collect options, have a few different alternatives to select from. But beyond a relatively low certain point, we don't need more options. More options do not make us happier. it's diminishing returns to a significant extent. Just to pull numbers out of the air, once you've got 3 half decent options, getting 5, 10, 20 slightly better ones is not going to make you any happier. And in situations like that, it turns out you'll have a lot more buyer's remorse with the more options that you have. If you have fewer options and you just pick one and move on with it, it turns out we underestimate how happy that will make us. Whereas the more and more options that you collect, we overestimate how happy choosing any one of them will make us. I think the parallels to dating, picking a job, hobbies, the color you're going to make your house, all of this is rife throughout our life. So again, just being aware that this is how brains work, even though it might not feel like it to you, that you can be very happy if you just pick a decent option which has all the requirements, it doesn't need to be optimized, and then just get on with it and making that your choice. That's what tends to make you happier than finding the perfect option, which turns out to be not perfect, and then all you experience is all the deficits of that choice. Finally, we have the sunk cost fallacy. The bias to continue doing things just because we've done them and we've put time and energy into them, and we feel as though the only way to extract the benefits of those resources we've already put into it is to continue doing the thing and make sure we push it over the line or get our money's worth. But that's irrational, because you should not make decisions facing the past. You should make decisions facing the future. The past is only relevant for the influence it has had on the current moment. Say you've been in an industry for 10 years and you're having thoughts about changing. You're not sure if you want to continue down the same path. Let's say accounting is just starting to not feel like it's for you, and you're really attracted to becoming a carpenter. To say the past does not matter is the wrong way to look at it. It's just that at that point in time, you should only make decisions facing the future. The past matters here because over 10 years in accounting, you've gained significant experience, a professional reputation. You probably have a higher relative salary to many of your peers. All those can contribute to your happiness. And let's say we're optimizing for happiness in this scenario. All of those things can significantly contribute to happiness. But do they contribute as much as the opportunity for a new adventure and the ability to test yourself and follow your passions? So the key decision there is, given the benefits that I'm afforded by staying as an accountant, do they make me happier, and do they have the potential to improve my long-term happiness more or less than the benefits afforded to me if I was to become a carpenter? The decision is not, this is what I've been doing, so I just have to stick at it until I make partner or X figures or whatever, and then I can retire. Say months ago you bought tickets to go to a festival or a music event, and then it turns out that weekend you just don't want to go, but you think, oh, I've spent the money, so I have to go and get my money's worth. But if that's not the activity that makes you happiest in that moment, it's not the best choice. The money is spent. The only thing you have is the current moment and then the future moments you're building towards. So you need to make decisions that influence those. And if something else will make you happier, even if you haven't spent money on it, it's just a free offer from a friend, or you want a weekend to yourself, that is still perfectly fine. The money will be spent. Just do the thing that makes sense for you and detach it from past decisions. That's avoiding the sunk cost fallacy. If you made it this far, thank you. You're awesome. Thanks all.